Welcome into Warped, the Unnecessary Star Trek podcast. Did anyone ask for this? Absolutely not. I'm Erin.
I'm Sean.
I'm Matt.
I'm Jake.
And I'm A.
That's awesome. Nobody did ask for it.
Nobody's ever asked for it. I mean,
that's certainly true.
There's some people who asked us not to.
Right?
We've been asked to stop several times.
Quite the opposite.
Today's a very special episode, right?
Yeah, Q who, guys? Introducing the Borg. Even I heard of the Borg.
Now, you had heard of the Borg because you've heard us.
I know. I was like, wait, it's introducing the Borg? We haven't seen the Borg? Because I know the term the Borg. So, like,
right.
What?
But you didn't have a picture in your mind of what a Borg looked like.
No.
When you saw them for the first time, were you like, oh, I've seen that before? Or were you like, I've never seen that before?
I've never seen that before.
You're just like Captain Picard. You've never seen anything like this before.
Right?
You should have identified very strongly with this episode because just like the gang, you are being introduced to a brand new group of characters.
It felt like that. It felt good, you guys.
I like to think of the Borg as a single character because they share a hive mind.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, it's a hive mind.
One of these days, if we ever get there and we watch Star Trek First Contact, I will tell you about the long and involved conversation I once had many years ago with our old pal Harry Teplitz, who took strong offense to the way the Borg were portrayed in that movie and how it was a betrayal of the established configuration of how the Borg work.
By introducing the Borg Queen.
Yes, he felt like the Borg Queen was a real disaster. He thought it ruined the movie, essentially. It was a funny conversation, but you're not wrong, Jake. People take this shit seriously.
Yeah, I guess.
And just be the first to say, "Oh boy."
Oh, boy. That's my oh boy. Well, actually, it's Paul Tompkins' oh boy that I've stolen. So we are watching what? Season 2, episode 16. Sean, what's the... Yeah.
We got 45 minutes and 31 seconds on the clock, and I'm punching the triangle. In 3, 2, 1, punch.
Yeah.
So this is the first Q episode I've actually seen.
Okay.
And I'm like, this dude is campy as hell, and I like it.
Q is the best.
Q is the best bad guy. Because
it's a shame they never made a Q movie. I will set it for a long. It's amazing they never made a Q movie.
They could theoretically come back. I mean, John Delancey's still alive.
He just had his birthday the other day.
He could be on Picard someday. He could be on Star Trek Picard someday.
And I learned that he plays Kristen Ritter's dad in Breaking Bad. That's where I was like, when I looked at him, I was like, who is he? I've seen his face.
We talked about that.
That's funny. That's funny because when I watched Breaking Bad, I went, "Oh my God, it's Q!"
And I was like, "Q who?"
One thing, John Delancey was a longtime character on Days of Our Lives. That's where I knew him from when I saw him before. When I saw him as Q, I was like, "Oh, there's that." He was on Days of Our Lives.
Oh no, she's gonna blow it.
So this lady was supposed to be a possible romantic entanglement with Geordi, but they shit canned the character after 2 episodes.
Okay.
Oh, is she like she's into Geordi? That's what happened.
Yeah, and so much as that he's such a good engineer. But they clearly are like trying to start a friendship between them.
Yeah, they're vibing a little bit.
Eventually, they were like, "This is not worth our time. Let's move on."
Yep. When I looked up this actress, and her, I think the thing that I remember her from is she plays the hooker in Lethal Weapon, whose house gets blown up.
Oh, okay.
She also played the 3-boobed prostitute.
Oh, is she?
Total Recall.
Oh, I remember her.
Well, that's great credit.
That's a good one. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I saw that she was in Total Recall. I did not, and I knew she had to be one of the hookers. I did not read that she was the 3-boob
So
hooker.
she's been typecast as a 3-boob prostitute.
Yep.
Well, and here's I read an article. What? On
our new segment, May reads an article.
I read an article.
Play the jingle.
Play the jingle.
Yeah, insert jingle that to be produced by May later.
There you go.
It's a new rule I've come up with. Whenever you introduce the jingle, it's your job to produce it.
You're responsible for it.
There it is.
Here's a place to start. ARTICLE article. You'll put your spin on it.
We'll workshop it.
Anyways, so I found an article where they were talking about how they put one in the new version, new in quotes version of Total Recall, where I guess that Colin Firth was in it. So they interviewed her about it, and they're like, what do you think about this? And she was just talking about her experience, doing it, and how it wasn't her real boobs. It was a whole chest piece that was made, and they're all prosthetics. And then they're like, do you have any advice for the new chick who's going to be like the new 3-boob lady? She's like, congratulations, you can have all the horny sci-fi nerds. She's like, I'm passing them on to you. Good riddance.
Do you think boobs look better?
I just want to quickly point out that it's Colin Farrell, not Colin Firth. Although I would love to see a Colin Firth made.
Total Recall will be Colin Firth.
That would be a huge upgrade.
Novel it's based on. Colin Firth would be more likely that character as it's written in the book than either Colin Farrell or Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, dang.
Because his characters are always really nerdy in the books. The same with Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? That character in the books is not Harrison Ford at all.
No.
But they always play the leads as like in movies. It's always got to be like an alpha male type to be the lead. You can't have like a nerdy unless it's Woody Allen movies.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Is 3 better than 2?
No, because you can only hold 2 at a time. You only got 2 hands.
Yeah.
The third one's just there doing nothing.
The third one is for your face. Clear, obviously. I mean, right?
I don't know. That guy in Total Recall says it makes me wish I had a third arm.
Well,
the debate continues.
I think in general the answer is no. 3 is not better than 2.
I'm just disappointed that I saw 3 of her boobs and none of them were hers. It's kind of.
What's the classic T-shirt you buy in Mexico? How are boobs and margaritas the same? 1's not enough and 3's too many.
Nice. Sometimes I like odd numbers in aesthetics, but I think sometimes I need even numbers. Like in
I'm an even number advocate, I think.
Yeah. Are there trigon females, and do they have 3 boobs?
What's a trigon?
It's like, remember how there's that 3-legged dude on the animated series?
Well, he had 3 arms and 3 legs.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll bet his race had 3 boobs.
He
only had 3 arms. He had 2 legs, didn't he?
No, he had 3 legs.
He did?
Yes, he had 3
Yeah, they
legs.
didn't always draw all of them.
About that.
Yeah, he usually was sitting, but when they had him stand up, he had a 3rd leg.
Okay.
There she is.
Yep. I'm going to say it again. Whoopi Goldberg has a great profile.
Yeah.
She's amazing in this episode.
Yep.
She really gets to act. I didn't say the spec, so let me do it real quick. Yeah. Season 2, episode 16, Q Who, original air date May 6th, 1989. Q tries to prove that Picard needs him as part of their crew by hurling the Enterprise 7,000 light years away, where they encounter the Borg for the first time. So, Erin, what do you think the IMDb rating of this episode is?
Well, I thought it was a great episode. Bam. And I think the Borg, the hive mind, agrees on IMDb. So I'm going to give it a 9.
It is a 9.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ooh.
No, it's a great episode. Guinan has magic powers. I don't know if we've really talked about this before, but she's kind of got ESP or something. They're ill-defined what her powers actually are, but she can
it's like
sense
her race type thing.
Yeah, her whole race has
it. Sort of like the Beta Zeds, but not exactly the same.
Yeah,
it's more just like she can tell when something's wrong. Like she's got like Spidey. She's got like Spidey sense, you know.
I think she has near like plot breaking powers that they just don't reveal fully, because like Q threatens her and she puts her hands up to him like she could actually potentially stop whatever he's going to do.
Yeah,
so she has the power to stop the power of a god from happening.
She acts like she's got a hex ready to go or whatever.
Exactly. So there's a lot more to her that they don't really go into.
It's one of the great things about Guinan is that she's so interesting.
It's just mysterious, right?
And they only give you sort of little drips and drabs of what her
it doesn't really matter. You know, it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. But it just makes her more interesting not to know. Right? Like,
so I have my Wikipedia printed out about Guinan, and Roger Ebert called her the Enterprise's resident mystic.
Mm-hmm. That's about right.
Yeah.
That's a good assessment.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly she just gives really good advice and senses when something horrible is happening.
Yeah.
This is the better side of it. When she gets to be like, I'm worried Guinan, instead of just sort of sage advice Guinan.
I like them both, but yeah, this one was a special episode. I think it was good.
I'm worried it's really more Deanna's vibe. Like she's usually the one who's like, I'm sensing something that's happening. But every once in a while, when Whoopi's there, they let Whoopi do it. There's a really great episode in a season or two, Erin, where Q. So you get the sense from this episode that they have this backstory. She knows Q.
Yeah.
And there's an episode later on where he shows up on the ship and he's lost all of his powers. And Whoopi Goldberg has a wonderful moment where she stabs him with a fork just to make sure that he's really telling the truth when he says he's lost his powers. Okay. She just grabs a fucking, and it's a space fork. It looks all futury, and she grabs it and just stabs him in the hand to make sure he's telling the truth. It's one of Whoopi's best moments on the whole show, I think.
Can't wait.
It was Whoopi's birthday a couple of days ago, and so a lot of people on Star Trek Twitter were posting their like favorite Guinan moments, and that was mine when she stabs him with the fork. A really great moment.
Yeah, that sounds good.
You're like that episode. That's a really good one.
I find it interesting that they chose to use like one of their base big villains to introduce what is going to become the other big base villain.
Arguably much bigger than Q. I mean,
sure, the Borg becomes
much bigger problem.
Right,
Q
but it's just interesting that
so
you normally don't see that, where it's like the same episode involves two major villains like that.
Yeah, it's kind of a clever idea to have Q be the one who causes this whole thing in the first place.
Yeah. So this was like originally supposed to be a callback to the whole thing about the parasite that was going through Federation.
Yeah, the conspiracy. Yeah.
So, but then they shit canned that, created the Borg character.
Are you sure, or is that some fan wank that they made up after the fact?
No, I mean that's like the Borg was gonna be part of that storyline. But they changed it because of
look at her.
Strike.
Oh, look at her. Comes up behind the bar. Badass.
Yep.
He's here, goddammit. That son of a bitch.
So Q is really old too.
Q is like a god, essentially. He's essentially omnipotent and has existed.
You said he's ageless.
Yeah, he's existed.
She's really old. She's old. Probably go way back. Okay.
There's a whole race of these Qs. And they're all like sort of infinitely powerful and can do anything they want. They're basically like Greek gods. They've all got weird interpersonal issues with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how in mythology, like it was all about like Hera being jealous because Zeus fucked some girl down on Earth, and it was kind of like Q are kind of like that.
Those Greek stories, I mean, they're the best, really.
You look at her. What's going to come out of her fingers?
Yeah, she's going to shoot back, it looks like.
She's got something up her sleeve.
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about, man. She can do things.
The first time I've ever noticed that her sleeve has like a thumb hole to like keep it from sliding up her arm. Look at her thumbs.
Nice.
It's got a little hook on the end. Keep her sleeves down.
What this tells me is she secretly has the power to solve a lot of the problems that they run into episode to episode, but chooses not to so that they can grow.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. And she's one of those. She clearly could be doing anything she wanted to, but she likes being on the Enterprise and being the bartender. You know, she could do anything, but this is what she chooses to do because she likes it. And she has a backstory with Picard, which is another thing that they leave essentially to the imagination. You never really find out how they met or why they have this friendship, but they do. And well, I guess you do kind of find out in that time travel Mark Twain episode, but because from her perspective, that's the first time they meet, right? Is in that episode.
Right.
I am getting way down a nerd hole right now.
I love it.
So the idea that Guinan has histories with both Picard and Q is pretty interesting. It's pretty
cool.
funny. Like she knows both of these guys.
Yeah.
That's
and
obviously
Q's responsible for like he like did something bad to Guinan's people once upon a time or something, right? That's why she doesn't like him. Because
it seems mostly like he doesn't like her. Like he's the one that came up saying like her whole race is a bunch of tricksters.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. What race could be of such concern that they vex the Q? You know?
Yeah. I am sure that there are novels that have explored all of these questions.
Yeah.
I just haven't read them, but I'm sure people have written stories about Guinan's backstory and how she knows these guys and all that good stuff. John Delancey is wonderful as Q. I think we can all agree. Erin, you said you loved, or May said how campy he was. Like,
yeah,
he's very camp, which I think is a lot of fun.
Yeah,
he's basically not a villain. Although he causes a lot of problems, he's basically just like he likes to stir up. He's a drama.
He likes
to come to well-run, well-organized Starfleet and just cause a bunch of shit to get stirred up. It's hilarious.
Wow.
And he secretly, you're supposed to, I guess, secretly feel that he actually is kind of on Picard's. He's got a crush on Picard. I mean, clearly. He's constantly up in Picard's grill. So he's trying to help them in a weird, QE kind of way.
He's like your mentor.
He's always trying to be like, I could help you. I can teach you how to be better than you are right now. And Picard's always like, we're fine. We'll figure this shit out by ourselves. Thank you. John Delancey was also great on Breaking Bad, since we didn't really talk about it. But that he's not in it very much, but those few episodes where he's in it, and that scene in the bar with him and Walt is one of the best Breaking Bad moments of all time in a show that is full of amazing moments.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I should rewatch Breaking Bad. I should do a full. I'm rewatching so many shows right now. I can't add another one.
Yeah. This show is so good. We're just like watching it.
But yeah, I like how he's like, oh, I'm going to throw a tantrum right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to snap you somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
He's impulsive.
Yeah.
Like all the Greek gods. They didn't, if they felt like they weren't being treated right, they would just, do something real pissy just to show if they could. I'm going to turn you into a swan, motherfucker.
Yeah, just to prove that they can find themselves in situations they're not prepared for.
Right. He's just like, he's just trying to make a point. He's just being pissy to make a point. It's very cute.
Yeah, it's like a problem he could just solve, like, without even telling them about it.
That's true too. Like they could if he wanted to just get rid of the Borg.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that Picard would allow that, but Q could do it if he wanted to.
Right. It's just funny though. Yeah, I love that. It was a very like telling scene they did it when it was Guinan's first scene, and they just held that shot on her.
Yeah,
that was a great scene because Geordi's bullshitting away in the background, talking to Troy about whatever his problems with the ladies, no doubt. That's all he ever talks about with Troy. Troy must hate Geordi, don't you think?
No, Geordi was talking to the new girl.
Oh, I thought he was talking to Troy. I thought that was the back of Troy's head.
Yeah,
that
the hair threw you off. She's got the hair.
It was the ensign girl. Okay.
Yeah.
But my larger point stands. Don't you think Troy probably is tired of hearing about Geordi's relationship issues?
I'm sure he goes through her all the time.
I'm sure that's all
he has. Girl, you know about this stuff.
She tells them all the time, "You're a dragon, Geordi. It's okay. It's okay. You love the ship. That's your problem."
I bet whenever he goes to his sessions with Troy, that's all he complains about.
So this Borg reminded me of the Allspark from the Transformer movies. It's like the box that they're all fighting over because it's like, it's like the gemstone. It's like the Infinity Stone of like the Transformer movies. Yeah. That's what I thought.
It reminded me of that box that when you open it up, Hellraiser comes out of.
Yeah, definitely. I know that box. I don't have anything to contribute about Transformer. Sorry.
I don't know that box.
Yeah, that box was definitely ripped off from the Borg box, the Transformer box.
Probably.
They totally ripped that off of the Borg cube. Fucking Michael Bay.
Star Trek likes when alien ships are just very geometrical. Like the probe in Star Trek 4 was just like a blank
cylinder.
This thing's just a big old cube.
Yep.
I like it when ships in space shows don't have conventional flying shapes because
propulsion means you're like, how the hell does that thing propel itself?
Air in space. It doesn't have to be shaped like a rocket. It can be shaped like anything you want it to be.
Yeah.
There's no friction. So I like it when space shows are clever enough to remember that fact.
Yeah,
and
Star Trek does that all the time. Star Wars, not so much.
Well, Star Wars, everything's shaped like an airplane because George Lucas was trying to do like aviation, old 40s aviator type stuff.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there he is. This is the first Borg ever to appear on television.
Give him a little wiggle with his arm.
Oh, and the other thing that shocked me when I watched this episode was the first person to say the word Borg was Guinan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She's like, I know these motherfuckers.
She's like, they're called the Borg, and I was like,
they fucked with her people too.
Yeah, they killed most of her race. You find out that most of her species was killed by the Borg, right?
Yeah.
You think they'd be a lot more chilled out now if they had assimilated Guinan's race?
Yeah, Guinan's race is all about just like having fun and
yeah, being wise about shit.
Hanging out.
Sounds like they're still kind of assholes about everything.
Yeah.
Oh well. It's because of that Borg queen.
It would be more interesting if every time you saw them, they were a little bit like different because of something they had absorbed.
Something else they'd absorbed.
They're really angry because they just absorbed a Klingon for the first time or something like that, But they're basically the same all the time.
Yeah.
Which is their whole vibe.
And they clearly, wherever they were,
came along and infuriated Harry Teplitz.
You don't see, like, I know, like, a big thing in Picard was that there was this whole cube full of Romulan Borg, but you don't really see other races as the Borg before that. They all look like humans.
Yeah, I guess so. Probably because it would be a makeup on top of a makeup, and they were just like, what's the point?
Well, yeah, no, I mean, it makes sense why they do it, but it is true.
No, that's not going to do it. Worf's going to have to shoot harder than that. This should be Worf's dream come true. There's something on the ship that I get to fucking shoot. This is what he's been waiting for his entire life.
You got to blast him.
He's like, what did you do? Try and stun it? And then he was like, stuns don't work. I'm going to have to shoot it to kill. Oh, that did it.
Yeah, he did now. Look at that way that outfit is made.
Yeah. Meanwhile, his Lego Technics arm continues to vibrate.
Everyone knows that your Borg parts continue to twitch for 30 seconds.
Right. 30 like when you rip a chicken's head off, you know.
If your Borg parts continue to twitch after 8 hours, consult.
Borg parts.
Your Borg parts. Well, he ripped out his Borg part.
And this is
we have that and that, and
these are going
Borgs
to the Borg
are very like Borgs are very like plug and play. Like you can just
have
and plug them into another one, and they work just fine. Like
their teleportation signature is different too. The way that they beam out, look, the coloring is, and what happens is different.
Different than what?
Than when the Federation transporters transport people.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, it's green.
Well, yeah.
This is where we learn Guinan's story of her people being eliminated, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Should we sit quietly and watch Whoopi Goldberg?
Yes.
That's what we're doing.
Out of respect.
In a classic podcast move,
everyone stop talking for 5 minutes
and a half just to watch Whoopi Goldberg act.
I mean, she's captivating as hell.
She's pretty good. There's a reason she's famous. She's pretty good.
One thing I'll say about my reaction was, like, I think it's cute that, like, you know, their initial impulse is to, like, do the traditional first contact thing and, like, let's understand them. And it's like, oh, they're being aggressive, but it's just a misunderstanding, and we can reason with them.
Uh-huh.
And everybody, like, you know, anybody who's seen any of it before, and Guinan and whoever else, everybody's like, no, like, it doesn't work that way.
It's cool. They approach it in a very Starfleety way before realizing that's not going to work.
Yeah, Guinan warned Picard. Do you think it was a good idea that he was like, since we're here, let's check it out? Do you think that was a good move?
Yeah, she was just like, yeah, we should just start running now. But sometimes
her advice was, we got to go.
Yeah.
And Troy can somehow understand their like setup. She's mind reading them or whatever. She's empathizing because she understands what their deal is. She's like, they're all hooked together.
Right.
Yeah, they're not controlling cells.
Erin, what's your favorite band?
Band?
Yeah, like a favorite band.
Ooh. Well,
I know you like the Beatles a lot.
Yeah, I went through a pretty serious Depeche Mode phase.
Well, who didn't?
I saw they just got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yes, that was well deserved.
So, I mean, from my youth, those would be pretty up there. But
it's a good choices. Sean's, I know already. Sean, what's your favorite band?
They Might Be Giants.
Oh, yeah. I figured that out when you named one of your children after They Might Be Giants.
Did that give it away?
Your son might be named after They Might Be Giants.
Right, exactly.
Jake, do you have a favorite band?
As a young adult, my favorite band was always Smashing Pumpkins.
Okay.
They
were one of those bands though that like shined very brightly, but for a short period of time. You know
Smashing
what I mean?
Pumpkins?
Yeah. Don't you feel like they were huge for like 3 years?
Yeah,
but they kind of lingered forever.
He went on to make another band, right?
He did they're still doing Smashing Pumpkins. I mean, the roster has changed, but Billy Corgan famously recorded all the instruments on the albums and is a bit of a pill,
right?
In general,
he seems like not a lot of fun to be.
Yeah, but I do enjoy the hell out of him as an artist.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when they were big and everyone was listening, I mean, I loved those 2 albums.
I remember once at a karaoke party, I saw Jake sing Disarmed.
Oh, yeah?
I think isn't that what it's called?
Disarmed? Yeah, that's one of the songs. I knew.
Yeah. And I thought that was the strangest thing that someone would do, Smashing Pumpkins at a karaoke bar.
Yeah, it's pretty strange.
That's your general vibe.
I should have done Today. That's what you're saying.
Right. Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. I actually dragged May to a concert a couple of years ago.
Yep.
A Smashing Pumpkins concert.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
It was great.
They sounded good.
He had James Iha, who was like the original guitarist, and he had Jimmy Chamberlain, who I think may be the most popular person in the band and most beloved person in the band. Like both as a person and like as a musician.
Like the one who's not an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah. He like famously had like of them all the worst problem with drugs for a long time, but he has since gotten clean.
Oh, your voice just got so much better.
Oh yeah, sorry, I leaned in. I won't do that.
No, you should stay leaned in. That's how we hear you.
It was good.
Lean in.
Don't lean out. Lean in. Listen
lean
to
in, girl.
What's her face from space. Yeah.
I like how the chair's like vibrating when he leaves.
May, I know you're more of a Broadway person than a band person, but do you have a favorite band?
When I was growing up, my go-to band was Hanson.
Sure.
I went, instead of going full just like pop boy band, I was like, no. I'm going with Hanson because they write their own songs, they play their own instruments, so they are respectable.
Yeah,
they're not just
spoken like a true Hanson fan. Let me tell you,
yeah,
that's exactly what I would expect a Hanson fan to say.
Right?
Yeah, they don't just prance around doing poppy songs.
They don't prance at all. Those three, they didn't prance at all.
They stood behind their instruments.
They write their own songs, they play their own instruments, and they have sex with their own brothers.
And there's no prancing.
Incorrect. They have sex with their same
they're like good
wives.
Christian. They're like all good Christian boys.
Yeah, because they're super Christian.
Yeah.
Which I found out much later.
No, I definitely had a problem with them.
They all went on to very heterosexual lives. I'm pretty sure.
Yes. I think the oldest one, who is around my age, had like probably a kid 2 years into their career, and I was just like, wait, what? You're like barely an adult. Yeah. So that was while I was young. Nowadays it's more like divas, your Beyonce, your Lizzo,
solo artists.
Yeah, I've been enjoying the BTS though. My sister's super into BTS, and whenever they come on, I watch them, and I'm just like, oh, this is entertaining.
Yeah.
I also really like Chloe and Halle, the two sisters. They're really their music's very interesting. It's like R&B, but with that kind of like a Princey electronic modern twist, kind of a little techno mixed with R&B type sound. You guys know who they are? Chloe and Halle?
No.
I've seen the name. I don't know the music.
I have
seen Grownish.
No.
You have to remember, May, that we're old men. And so our knowledge of young hip hop R&B
very
duos
limited
is pretty limited.
I'm not listening to new stuff.
Well, I used to know what was going on. I still kind of know what's going on, but Chloe and Halle are not. I was not aware of.
We watched the iHeartRadio festival. It was on the other night, and I was like, "Uh-oh, I'm gonna not know half of these people." But we actually knew a majority of them because it was like Alicia Keys and Bon Jovi, and
people
BTS.
who are in their 50s.
I've heard of Bon Jovi.
I listen to a lot of M83. I'm super into them for some reason.
Yeah. Okay. That kind of makes sense.
Oh yeah.
I thought the Foo Fighters were good on SNL the other night.
Foo Fighters
were good.
That first song was terrible.
I'm talking about the second.
Yeah, that was good, but their new song is terrible.
Oh.
And I was watching that, and I'm going, and I just felt bad for Dave Grohl. I said, "You were in Nirvana, dude, and now you're singing this crap."
What about?
That's how I feel about every
in his grave.
That's how I feel about every Foo Fighters song ever.
I don't agree with you on that. I think there are good Foo Fighters songs.
That second song I thought was kind of appropriate for the.
Sure, it was of the moment, especially that he sang the song. That it meant a lot. I thought he went on a little too long before they kicked in. They could have kicked in the first chorus instead of waiting to the fucking third verse. I'm going, come on.
Yeah.
We know you can sing this song slow, Dave. Get over yourself.
But, I was like, okay, we're starting ethereal. I was like, come on, Foo Fighters, you ain't Coldplay.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, I like the idea because I knew they were going to kick in at some point in time because that song is normally played upbeat.
Yeah.
And I'm going,
but
they waited way too long to kick in. And so it was, but I disagree. I think there are some good Foo Fighters songs.
I think the Foo Fighters are, and no offense to any of the members of the Foo Fighters, but I think they are sort of the epitome of manufactured corporate dad rock, like that's designed to be appealing without being dangerous in any way.
That is certainly what they have become. I
think Kurt Cobain would throw up if he heard
Borg baby.
Baby Borg.
Borg baby. Take that, the child.
Okay, that's Borg, good. I'm glad we had a Borg baby before I started ranting about Foo Fighters for 20 minutes. Because I'm capable of it, and no one would like it.
Well, when I participated in the National Air Guitar Championship, I did Everlong as the song I performed to. So,
interesting.
Yeah,
and
I remember that.
What's his name from Rage Against the Machine? Tom Morello. That was the best choice of all the songs that night.
Damn.
That was feedback to you?
Yep.
Well, okay. That's pretty.
I mean, that's kind of like winning right there.
I felt like there was no better thing that happened that night than that fact.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Now they're finally taking Guinan's suggestion and being like, let's get the hell out of here.
Bounce, baby, bounce. Let's go.
We already
draw the line.
We already missed it, but I like that shot of them cutting a hole in the ship and
did that happen already? That was awesome.
It's a cool effect, like watching that like spiral, corkscrew chunk of the ship.
The one thing that would have made it better if you saw little Starfleet guys like floating
falling out.
Yeah, you should have seen little dudes like flying off into
sucking
space.
out into space.
Because the Borg killed a bunch of people, right?
Yeah,
it was like 20-some people. 18, is that what it was? Yeah.
I believe so.
So we
So
talked
now they're
about
like,
how great
get
this
on the
episode
run.
is. This episode won 2 Emmys.
Yeah.
Both for in sound mixing and sound editing in a drama series.
Good thing I heard this. So
yeah, good thing we're listening to it.
For budget.
I have not seen this episode in a long time, but I remember it. It's vividly, it makes an impression. This episode, especially if you.
It's a great episode.
Oh, that reveal! He was in the background the whole time.
Yeah. This starts. Is this the first time he wears the Starfleet outfit? Because he starts wearing it all the time.
No,
I think he wore it in the first episode. There's an episode where Picard's like, "How dare you wear that? Like, you haven't that to wear that outfit." In one of the, I don't know if it's the first one or the second one.
I liked it better when they made him wear like Toreador outfit.
Yes, when he would show up in Napoleon garb.
Yeah, he was easier to spot.
The costume department must have been like, could we just put him in a regular uniform?
We've got all these fucking red shirt uniforms. Just put him in one of those.
Erin, there's one where Q makes them go to Robin Hood time and pretend they all have to pretend to be Robin Hood and his, merry crew. And they all wear the standard Robin Hood
in their Robin Hood gear.
It's very funny. It's a really good episode.
What's the name of that episode?
I forget. They all have the letter Q in them.
If it's there.
I forget. I could look it up, but I'm not gonna.
That's cool. I just figured it might be clever.
So what was your very first concert? Like real, like a rock and roll or pop concert, not just like, some kids concert, Raffi or somebody like that.
Are you asking me?
I'm asking the room.
I will start.
Go ahead.
Paul McCartney.
Yeah, that's a good one.
How old?
9.
Wow.
8.
Did you know who he was at the time?
What's that?
Did you know who he was at the time?
He was
listened to Beatles stuff and his stuff before that. Yeah. I'm trying to think if at 9 I would have known who the Beatles were.
We had records
about them.
I think I was like geared up for it because my sister worked in conjunction with it, so that's why we went.
Yeah,
right, you said
so you already had that connection to him.
So he, that was already going on. Sure. So I think that also put on the map, and then we had records around. So I just sort of like.
How much older is your sister than you?
18 years older.
Oh wow!
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was that big of a gap.
With that sister, it is. Yeah, I have 2 sisters.
Okay, good answer. Solid.
Yeah, so that made it smart. I think because I got to see live and then I had the records, that's what kind of planted the seed for me to be a big Beatles. There's so much to listen to, so kept me busy.
Sometimes the answer to these questions is embarrassing, but yours is highly respectable.
I was into the music my folks were into, and luckily, we had the records around. So yeah, I didn't do as much of the teeny bopper stuff. My sister did. She saw New Edition, Bobby Brown, kind of stuff like that. But I only went to like the sort of classic.
You went to real music concerts.
Yeah.
I understand. You don't have to be snobby about it. It's fine. Jake, do you remember what your first real concert was?
I don't really remember. I haven't been to that many. I remember going in college to like Wango Tango, which was like the concert that Kiss maybe puts on.
Yeah,
Kiss FM.
Kiss. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it was a bunch of different. You saw a bunch of different.
Yeah. So I saw like
stars.
I saw like No Doubt there.
Yeah.
As like the headliner. Michelle Branch and Vertical Horizon.
Wow, you're really pinning it down to a very specific
year.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how those work, right?
I feel like I know exactly
Feeling
what
the pulse of the times.
2002.
Tango, tango.
Oh, that's funny. May, do you remember going to did you go to concerts when you were a kid?
Well, my dad actually used to play music. Like he was in a band where they like played Hawaiian music.
Nice.
So they would play like festivals and stuff, and we would go to those things. But my first like concert where it's just like we went to just watch was a Hawaiian band called the Casimiro Brothers. And I was really young. Like I was like 12. I don't remember actually like asking to go, but they just like took me because I learned all their songs.
Mm-hmm.
But the first one that I went to that was like, take me to this was Hanson.
Good for
Okay.
you.
So yeah. I like it when the best favorite band and first concert question have the same answer.
Right.
Erin had Paul McCartney and the Beatles, and you had Hanson and Hanson. So this is going well.
Yep. They did a acoustic version of Bop that made me break into sobs.
I'm so happy that you have that. Like that is like such a classic, like 12-year-old thing to experience.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you're just like, I don't know why I'm reacting like this, but it's happening, and I'm just going with it.
Go with it.
So full of hormones.
Yeah.
No, that's adorable. I wasn't laughing because I thought it was funny. I was laughing because it was
like
charming.
Jealous.
I was laughing because it's funny.
Sean, I think, and I have the same answer to this question, if I'm remembering.
Yeah, I mean that's what I usually say is Miami Sound Machine.
Miami Sound Machine.
I remember going to that, but I think back and it's like I did like some concert type things, but they weren't. I would say that's my first like real concert at like a real concert venue.
Yeah,
because I saw when I was in that because that was like when I was like 13, I think when I was 12 or 13.
Yeah,
but when I was like 10. I was at Disneyland on there because I share a birthday with Disneyland, and I'm exactly 20 years younger than them. So sometimes they have big birthday celebrations, and they were having like a 24-hour pass. And I saw An Emotion. You remember An Emotion?
Uh-huh.
At the old, remember how Disneyland used to have a dance party area called Videopolis?
Yep.
They performed. They performed at Videopolis. No, not Tomorrowland.
Wasn't it in Tomorrowland?
Not the Raising Stage. It was off behind Small World.
Oh, I don't remember that.
They decided sometime in the mid '80s. They decided that Disneyland needed a nightly dance studio, like
for a
party.
kids club. A kids club.
Yeah. That back then.
So, anyways,
we just learned about that watching like the Imagineer story.
They talk about it in the Imagineering story, yeah, the Videopolis. But I also saw the Beach Boys at like a water park.
I
didn't think that counted either, so that's why I count Miami Sound Machine. The Irvine Meadows.
It makes me sad that the Beach Boys were playing water parks.
Yeah, it was like, other than obviously Brian, but it was everybody else. Like, it was Mike Love was there. And
a little weird.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, the Beach Boys, you could do. Yeah, you could do a whole podcast just on the
craziness,
the story of the Beach Boys, and it would take you years to cover it all because. So just the lawsuits alone, you could spend a year just figuring out who was suing who for the right to call themselves the Beach Boys.
Right.
I'm going to guess, because I just Googled Vertical Horizon, that Wango Tango was in 1999 or 2000, maybe.
You could be right on the money.
Sounds good.
Because that was when Vertical Horizon's hit song "Everything You Want" was popular.
Big hit.
Yeah, mine was Miami Sound Machine. I went with my mom because she liked Miami Sound Machine. And
where did you see him?
In Fresno at the Selland Arena or whatever it was called.
It's like right at the beginning of them when Congo, like that area, or later on.
Yeah. No, it was like Congo and 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah,
Come on, baby.
Probably, I bet it was the same. I bet it was the same tour.
Might have been. Yeah, could very easily could have been. Because if they came to Fresno, they probably came to Baker or
no, they were. We actually saw them at the Irvine Meadows.
Oh,
but
they went that theory. Hey, the episode ended, you guys.
Yeah,
that was a great one.
So it's a great episode. We spent some time on Star Trek, and then we diverged.
Yep,
as we do, like two roads.
You got any? What's that game we play these days?
I do have some of that. Do you want to do?
Yeah, let's do that.
Do we want to do recommendations before everyone listen to Miami Sound Machine? They're great.
They're great.
I used to be embarrassed by that answer. I used to be sort of like, yeah, I went to a cheesy pop concert for my first concert. Now I'm like, those songs slap. Like I love Miami Sound Machine. I was listening to them the other day while I was doing the dishes, and I was like, this doesn't suck. Why was I embarrassed by this? Do you want to play Only Connect? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, do this.
All right. I have a couple of Only Connects to play.
While you're loading that up, I'm going to ask a stupid question. Was Gloria Estefan, she was in that before she went solo, correct? Or am I?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it was maybe called Gloria Estefan and Miami Sound Machine.
Okay. I just
started. They were just
Miami Sound Machine as a solo artist, so I was just double checking because I thought.
No, you're 100%.
Okay, all right.
And then she became famous, and then they started calling it Gloria Estefan and Miami Sound Machine.
Got it.
And then she just became Gloria Estefan.
And I know her more as the split off time.
The best joke she told the concert that I saw, she said, how many people, they're like saying how she's bilingual, and she said, how many people here only speak Spanish? And a bunch of people cheered, and she said, you dumb shits. And how did you understand how I asked you?
Nice.
So did you guys know that Gloria Estefan lives on an island in like Miami, like a small, there's this like complex of small islands, and they all are sort of connected to each other, but not really connected to the mainland. And only famous people live on these islands. So like, and the reason I know this is because I was listening to some interview with Rosie O'Donnell where she was talking about how Gloria Estefan was her best friend. And I was like, how the fuck does Rosie O'Donnell know Gloria Estefan? And it turns out they live next door to each other in these mansions on these islands off the coast of Florida. And like Kanye has, and Kim have one, and Ellen DeGeneres has one. It's all these famous people live on
super rich famous people.
And it's just like, oh, that's just hilarious to imagine Gloria Estefan and Rosie O'Donnell as next door neighbors. You know? Like, okay, here's your first clue.
All right.
The second female Nobel laureate in science.
Second female Nobel laureate in science.
Yeah.
Awards that have not been given yet.
No, but that's an excellent guess. That's a funny guess.
Awards that were retracted after they were awarded.
No, but that's also a really good thing.
Awards
coming up with clever ideas today, Jacob.
Awards that were won by the same person again.
Wow, Sean got it.
Yeah.
All right, what's the second?
Thinking.
Wow. You got it on the first clue. I'm so proud. It makes me so happy. The second clue was going to be the second Super Bowl. So the second female Nobel laureate was Marie Curie, because she won once for her physics
as well,
and once for chemistry. And she was both the first and the second winner. The second Super Bowl winners,
both Packers. I would have gotten it on that one because they're both the Packers won the first two Super Bowls.
They were also the winners of the first.
Got it.
Third clue was second rule of Fight Club, which is the same as the first. And the fourth clue would have been second identical twins genes, because if you're an identical twin, you have the same genes as your twin. So those were all things that were the same as the first. You want another one?
Sure.
Sure.
Manufacturing gunpowder.
Manufacturing gunpowder.
Yep.
Manufacturing gunpowder.
Something that was done by hand that's not done by hand anymore.
I think was it technological advancements that distinguished us from the Dark Ages?
No, although those are both really good guesses. May's guess was good. Want another clue?
Sure.
Yeah.
Roman mouthwash.
Huh.
I didn't get this one either, so
Were these
I didn't get it until the fourth clue.
archaeological discoveries at Pompeii?
No.
Yeah.
Another clue?
Yep.
Ready for another clue? Thickening wool.
Thickening wool. Oh, these are all things that share an ingredient in common, like lye or something?
You're so close. It's not lye.
It's like, well, this is saltpeter.
Nope.
What else is it?
So there's a specific requirement for the making of all three.
Something
of these
that
things.
goes into these, like,
Yep.
like
and we need to know the thing.
like it's animal fat or
Nope.
some sort of animal byproduct. Wait, what is it?
Oh, you're being way too highbrow.
I'm just thinking like
Hooves
What?
made from hooves.
No.
it's just like something like charcoal or
Your
Marking.
fourth clue is
urine.
marking territory. Yeah.
Urine.
All things that urine is used for.
huh.
Is it still used in gunpowder?
I doubt it. It's probably all synthetic now.
Like who's peeing the?
Okay.
Like who's peeing? to
I'm the
make
only
gunpowder?
one that doesn't know what a Roman mouthwash is.
Apparently, they used like urine as a mouth.
That's not like a euphemism for a sex
No, no,
That's
not
actually
on
what
Only
Roman
Connect.
used the
Not on Only Connect. It's not. They're very proper.
Wait, that's a good one.
Maybe in some dark
I gave him a Roman mouthwash last night.
in some dark corner of the internet you can find Roman mouthwash porn, but not on Only Connect.
That's interesting. I didn't know. I would never have guessed that.
You were so close when you were like they're all made with the same thing.
Yeah.
You just didn't
Yeah.
pick.
I was just thinking that if it was used as mouthwash, I would think of something like gritty to use as like a surfactant that would like scrape stuff away, you know?
We'll do one more.
I'm for it.
One more
Lady-
time.
Ladybug's yellow is your first clue.
Ladybugs yellow. Ladybugs. Is it the team name and uniform color from that one
From that movie with Rodney Dangerfield?
Rodney
No.
Dangerfield movie?
Is it the color of their eggs?
No, but you're so close again.
Color of their larva?
No,
Color of their wings?
Their pee.
no. What other fluids exist?
Blood.
Color
It's
of their
the
blood.
color of their blood. That's it. Cockroach colorless. You absolutely would have gotten it on the third clue, which was Spock green.
Ah,
What's 4 if that's the third one?
The fourth clue is you red.
Spock green, I think, is more obvious than you red.
Yeah, but as the fourth clue in a sequence, you're going to get it right away if you haven't gotten it by Spock green. I suppose there are theoretically people out there who don't know that Mr. Spock has green blood, but none of those people would ever be on Only Connect.
Right.
There's no way that anybody who's ever been on that show does not know that fact.
Well, on that Star Trek note, maybe we
It's
should
a
end our Star Trek podcast.
It's a Star Trek way to end the show. Mr. Spock has green blood, you guys. I don't know if
That's great.
you've heard about this, but it's a thing.
and intellectuals who are good at this game would know that. So feel good about it.
Yeah, I mean, I use nerd as a word of affection. I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea.
That's
God
right.
forbid. I'm stealing clues from the game show from Britain so that we can do it on this show. That's how nerdy I am.
And whenever
willing
you
to
suggest we
commit
should do
copyright
it, we're all like, yes,
violation.
this is like the
Yes.
highlight of our night.
Yeah.
Get
Well-
done with the episode so we can play Connect It All.
Yeah, we can play
Maybe that's all we should do on the just do Connect Alls all the entire time.
full-time podcast where all we do is play a game we do not have the rights to play.
Yeah, the next time there's an episode where we all collectively know that it's like the season's low point, let's just play this game instead.
Yeah,
Sounds
okay.
good.
Fair enough. Thank you all very much for listening to Warped. Go to iTunes, wherever you get your podcast, to rate, review, and subscribe. You can follow us on Instagram at Warped the Podcast and buy our merch on Instagram at lunar_flair, FLAIR. You can follow us on Twitter at Warped Trek. You can follow me on Twitter at HostWarped. You can follow Min to learn about our Dungeons & Dragons and Call of Cthulhu podcasts and live streams at Wet Maynard. And you can go to patreon.com/warped. This is really the most important one because this is the only one where there's money involved.
Yeah.
Go to patreon.com/warped, become a subscriber, get access to bonus material and additional episodes. Erin, you want to take us out?
I'm Erin.
I'm Sean.
I'm Matt.
I'm